utilization of the existing space. In fact, I was just touring the basement of Westminster High School last week to look at how it can be reconfigured to consolidate the behavioral emotional support teams that we have at each one of our high schools, to consolidate all of that into one space and therefore save some efficiencies in staff. But the other piece, a program that we don't have, last year we had 60 students come to us from psychiatric treatment centers directly to us. And also we had 40 students come from incarcerations into our school system. We don't have any place to transition those students into the classroom. And so sometimes they'll end up at Gateway and sometimes they'll end up right at the other classroom. So we're creating a special unit in the basement of Westminster High School, which they have available, to allow for that transition group to happen. So that's one of the things.
I thought that for students coming from something like incarceration, where the problems are mostly acting out kind of things, that is exactly what Gateway was about. Was to put them in a somewhat more structured classroom and work on them work with them until the staff felt they were at a place where they could go to a regular classroom. And is that exactly what Gateway was?
No, some of these are special education students. Some of these students have committed crimes outside of the school environment that doesn't require any school suspensions. We're notified of them, but that doesn't necessarily mean they won't end up in our classroom.
Yeah, I understand.
But Gateway is only accessed for after we identify problems and put them there. So sometimes yes, sometimes no. It depends on the student, depends on the situation, depends on the reason for the incarceration. Gateway is not a catch-all program. It is a program for students who have exhibited that they cannot exist in the environment within a school. What we're missing, and I'm going to talk about underserved.
You're primarily talking about students who have demonstrated undesirable behaviors in the classroom.
Chronically disruptive behaviors in the classroom.
Okay.
Generally, in a general statement. Now, sometimes they go from incarceration.
They've done so outside the school that might get them put in jail, then that's not a criteria for which they come to Gateway.
Not necessarily. Every student is treated individually. There are some crimes that are committed in the community where the student is fine in the classroom.
Yeah, I was going to say, so why don't you just bring them back to the classroom?
Well, what we need to do is to do a better job of assessing those students rather than putting back to the classroom, discovering that these issues exist, and then moving them to Gateway.
But you're getting a little bit
I'm going afield here.
Yeah. The idea is that you're implementing some programs.
We're implementing these programs in addition